Did you know that the Coinbase IPO is set to launch tomorrow? But you might be asking yourself, why is this important? Could this be the biggest IPO launch of this year? Come on in, let's talk about it. What's up, everyone? This is the Real Mark Cruz, and I'm here to keep it real with you on the things that matter the most, like your money, your mind, and your time. But before we get started, I have to say this. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just some dude on the internet, okay? Everything that you see is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay, so you may have heard of crypto, you may have heard of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, all these other coins. You may have heard these terms flown around, right? You may have heard from your friend, a coworker, your grandmother, your aunt, everybody, right? Crypto seems to be all the rage these days. And although crypto inherently isn't new, it's been around for quite some time now, it's on everybody's mind right now, right? It's in the zeitgeist of humanity right now as we speak. But tomorrow, one of the biggest crypto wallets in the US, and I actually believe it's the biggest one in the US right now, is Coinbase. And it's set to launch its IPO tomorrow. Now, you might be wondering, how is this important? How will this affect you? Any of those things, right? Since Bitcoin is all the rage, people need a wallet to keep their Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these things, right? Where do you think people do that? In Coinbase. Well, that's one of the bigger ones, right? So let me explain to you why this IPO could potentially be the biggest IPO of the year and how you could potentially use this play to make a lot of money. Okay, so essentially Coinbase is a digital wallet app, right? It allows you to manage your crypto coins, whether you have Bitcoin, whether you have Ethereum, or any of the coins, right? It doesn't support every single one yet, but it supports a lot of the major ones as of this recording, right? As you can see, I have the website here, so let me give you a little bit about the company. I believe their about page is somewhere around here. Of course, when you're recording, that's when they move it, right? Anyway, so Coinbase, according to their site, they've actually been around since 2012, right? In terms of the users and all of that stuff, according to what it says here, they have 56 million verified users as of right now. They have about 223 billion assets on the platform. They are available in 100 plus countries, and they have over 1,700 employees, right? So Coinbase right now is actually going to be the first major crypto brand to have an IPO. This hasn't been done before yet. So everything that I'm about to go over here, clearly there's no blueprint for it, but that's also what makes this super exciting because there's nothing that's taking place like this up until this point, right? Just to give you a bit of an idea of why this could be such a major thing, let me go over a few facts. In the first quarter alone for this year, Coinbase saw revenues of 1.8 billion alone, which if you compare it to last year they actually the revenues that they made for the whole year, it was only 1.3 billion. So to put that into perspective, in the first quarter of this year alone, they've already made more than they made last year combined. Just insane to think about, right? In terms of the IPO, it's actually going to be released as a direct listing. If you're not sure what that means, let me explain that to you in terms of the differences between going the direct route or going the traditional route. In a traditional IPO, an investment bank usually receives large sums in shares to coordinate and manage the distribution of those shares. However, in a direct listing scenario, those fees and all of those things are avoided completely because there's not any usage of, they don't use traditional IPO underwriters or anything like that. The business and existing shareholders themselves, they sell shares directly to the public. That's why it's a direct IPO. It doesn't involve any underwriters, intermediaries, or anything like that. There are also no new shares that are issued, and there is no lockup period. So let me pull up the Webull app so you guys can see how far Bitcoin and Ethereum have grown within the last year. So you can kind of wrap your mind as to why I believe this IPO is going to be huge. So pulling up the Webull app here, let me pull that up on my screen. If you guys see here, right now, as of this recording, Bitcoin right now is at 62,700 plus per coin. And as you can see, this thing moves ridiculously fast. So as I'm even saying these, as I'm actually saying the price, the numbers are moving that much quicker, right? To give you some perspective as to why that's so huge, as you can see here, hold on, let me scroll just to show you guys. A little over a year ago, right? So you can see, let's say March 12th of last year. Bitcoin was at an all-time, well, not an all-time low, but it was at a low of last year for $4,000 per coin. Um, I try not to look at that because it pains me because I was in at that point. And yeah, anyway, me and Bitcoin have a love hate relationship, but I digress. My point being is in March of last year, it was as low as 4,000 per coin, right? So if you look at the current price right now, it actually more than 16x its price at that time. It's insane, right? So let me actually pull up Ethereum too, so you guys can see that here. Right now, as I'm recording this, it's actually a little over 2,270 per coin, right? Around the same time last year, let me see. Yeah, it's around March 12th ish, right? At that time, it was actually about 89 bucks per coin compared to where it's at now. If you look at that, it actually 25 times its current value, which again, it's hard to describe in words how big that is. If it jumped 25 times in a year, um, like literally it multiplied itself 25 times. If you think about how big that is, how many stocks or how many assets or anything like that, how many things do you know grow that fast? It's insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, so let's give you some perspective. Right now, Coinbase is expected to open up at $100 billion valuation. And to give you some perspective on how big that is, so the parent company that owns the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, I believe it's called Intercontinental Exchange, right? The revenues that they had for 2020, if you compare them to the valuation that I just said, that's 1.5 times more than both of those combined. It's insane. It's mind-blowing how big this could potentially be, right? Analysts, they're also predicting that the share price could open anywhere like between 195 bucks on the low end to about 400 on the high end. It's like on its first day, it could literally reach that. It's insane. It's mind blowing how big this thing is, right? Some even like predict that within 1 year, the share price could easily go over 600 bucks per share. And I think that that's actually not that far fetched to think about because if you looked at some of the IPOs that have, that have been released within the last year and all the hype surrounding them, a lot of them, the projections that they predicted for a lot of these, they were a lot lower than the actual prices. So this could very well be one of the biggest IPOs we've seen in a long time. Okay, so although this sounds like a golden goose, once in a lifetime opportunity, which it very well could be. So let me not, dampen that, right? There are a few concerns that I think you definitely have to keep in mind if you intend to play this on IPO day, right? First things first, Coinbase right now, they generate their money, predominantly from transaction fees, which of course there's nothing wrong with doing that, right? However, if they continue to grow as quickly as we've seen, competitors will come out of the woodwork. They're going to come out from every corner of the earth. In a scenario like that, they actually might be forced to either A, lower their transaction fees, or B, eradicate their fees altogether because, their competitors might force them to do that. If that is the case, how will they continue to make their money? What other new sources of income will they have to create to continue to stay afloat? Definitely something you want to keep in your mind. Another thing I actually wanted to mention is right now, Coinbase spends a ton of money on marketing, which of course they have to because they want to maintain their market share, right? Which is cool. There's nothing, inherently wrong with doing that. However, bringing up the competitor thing, like I said prior, if they continue to have more and more competitors come out from wherever they do, they're going to have to continue to spend more money. And the more money that they spend is going to cut into their bottom line. So definitely keep that in mind as well. So one last thing I actually wanted to bring up is right now Coinbase, the value of the company is inherently tied to crypto coins, clearly because that's what that's the whole point of the app, right? And as you know, crypto is extremely volatile, right? So with that being said, there's a lot of things that could play out that they literally have no control over, right? Case in point, let's say there's an issue at some point in the world with Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of these coins. And a part of the world decides, hey, we're not going to support this or we ban the use of this, whatever it is, right? That's going to inherently affect the stock price immediately, right? At the same time, let's just say crypto values go down because, Bitcoin and Ethereum and a lot of coins, they're known to drop quickly and they're known to rise quickly. What sucks for Coinbase is, like I said, since it's inherently tied to the prices of these coins, every time there's a major dip, this company's stock could also see a major dip. So that's a little bit concerning as well. Well, that's what I have for you guys today. What are you going to do with the Coinbase IPO? Are you going to buy immediately? Are you going to YOLO trade this thing? Are you going to bet the whole house and your grandmother and your dog? Whatever it is, please let me know in the comments below, as I'd be very curious to hear what you guys are going to do. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might benefit from this information. This is the part where I generally plug my Webull app, but since we're talking about Coinbase, if you'd like to get in and trade on Coinbase, use my link in the description below. Don't forget. So with that being said, keep your heads bright, your wallets tight, and grab your dreams like it's your right, my friends. Peace.